You think your dog licks you because they love you. But what if that's only part of the story? What if every time your dog licks you, they're actually trying to tell you something deeper, something most owners never notice? Because excessive licking isn't random, it's communication. And once you understand what it really means, you'll never look at your dog the same way again. At first, it feels simple. Your dog comes up, licks your hands, your face, maybe even your feet, and you smile. "Aw, they love me." But here's where it gets interesting. Love is only one layer of a much bigger emotional system. Dogs don't use words, they use behavior. And licking is one of their strongest signals. But what most people miss is this: not all licking means the same thing. Sometimes it's affection, sometimes it's anxiety, and sometimes it's a silent cry for something they're not getting. And the scary part? Most owners reward it without realizing what they're reinforcing. But we'll come back to that, because what it means when your dog licks you at specific moments is where things get really revealing. Let's break the first layer. When your dog licks you casually, like when you come home, this is often tied to bonding. In the wild, puppies lick their mother's face. It's instinct. It signals connection, safety, and belonging. So when your dog licks you, they may be saying, "You're my safe place." But here's what most people don't realize. If your dog starts licking more frequently or more intensely, that meaning begins to shift. And this is where it gets uncomfortable. Because excessive licking can actually be a stress response. Yes, stress. When a dog feels uncertain, overwhelmed, or slightly anxious, they turn to repetitive behaviors to calm themselves. Licking releases endorphins. It soothes them. So if your dog suddenly starts licking you more than usual, especially in quiet moments, they might not just be showing love, they might be trying to feel safe. And what triggers that feeling is something most owners completely overlook. It could be a change in your routine, your mood, even your tone of voice. Dogs read energy, not just actions. So when something feels off to them, they don't ask questions, they cope. And licking becomes their way of regulating emotion. But here's where it gets even deeper. Because sometimes your dog isn't calming themselves, they're trying to calm you. Yes, you. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to human emotion. If you're stressed, anxious, distracted, your dog feels it. And licking can be their way of saying, "I don't know what's wrong, but I'm here." Think about that for a second. Every time your dog licks you when you're feeling low, they might be responding to something you didn't even say out loud. Now, here's something that might surprise you. What happens when they stop licking? Most people never think about this, but if your dog used to lick you and suddenly stops, that can signal emotional distance. Not always, but often. It can mean they're unsure, disconnected, or even confused about your responses. Because dogs learn through patterns. If they lick you, and sometimes you respond with affection, and other times you push them away. That inconsistency creates uncertainty, and uncertainty affects trust. But before you start worrying, there's something important you need to understand. Not all excessive licking is emotional. Sometimes it's behavioral conditioning. If every time your dog licks you, you pet them, talk to them, give attention, you're reinforcing that behavior. To your dog, licking becomes a strategy. Do this, get attention. Simple. But here's the twist. Even attention-driven licking usually starts from an emotional need, which means your dog is still trying to communicate something. They just learned a faster way to get your response. And what that deeper need is something we're about to uncover. But before we go further, if this is already changing how you see your dog, hit like and subscribe, because what you're about to learn next might completely shift your relationship with them. Now let's talk about intensity, because not all licking is equal. Gentle, short licks, usually normal. But persistent, non-stop licking
especially targeting one spot or happening during rest, that's when you need to pay attention. It could signal anxiety, boredom, or even a lack of mental stimulation. Dogs need engagement. If their mind isn't active, they create their own coping mechanisms, and licking becomes one of them. But here's something most owners never connect. Your lifestyle directly shapes your dog's behavior. If your dog isn't getting enough exercise, interaction, or structure, that energy doesn't disappear, it redirects, and often it shows up as behaviors like licking. So what looks like affection might actually be unmet need. Now let's go even deeper, because there's one reason for excessive licking that almost no one talks about: appeasement. In dog psychology, licking can be a submissive signal, a way of saying, "I mean no harm, I trust you, I'm trying to keep peace." So if your dog licks you when you're upset or when you raise your voice, they might be trying to reduce tension, not just for you, but for themselves. And once you see that, you start to realize something powerful. Your dog isn't just reacting, they're responding to your emotional world. And that changes everything. Because now, it's not just about stopping the behavior, it's about understanding it. So the next time your dog licks you, pause. Don't just assume. Ask yourself, what's happening right now? What am I feeling? What might my dog be picking up? Because in that moment, your dog might be doing more than showing love. They might be connecting, coping, or communicating something you've never noticed before. And when you start to see those signals clearly, your relationship changes. It becomes deeper, more aware, more real. Because your dog isn't just behaving, they're communicating. And maybe they've been trying to tell you something all along.